Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching Now Media Television.
Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, investor, entrepreneur, and business strategist. Why are we here? I believe that iron sharpens iron, and when we bring successful investors and entrepreneurs to share what's working in business, and even sometimes what's not, what we are able to do is learn together and grow. The resulting impact ripples over not only to impact our families, our teams, and their families, but also our communities and our world. I'm really excited about today's episode. You have a real treat because I am bringing in Astor Realty and Capital to talk to you about real estate investing, about entrepreneurship, and everything in between. I'm excited because I have a real power partnership in studio today, and you're going to find that. So buckle up, grab your pencils and papers, because I'm sure they're going to share something that you want to write down. Without further ado, I would love to introduce to you Marika Jinjin-Hashvili, the COO of Astor Realty and Capital, and Joe Burko, CEO and founder of Astor Realty. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Jen.
Good to be here, Jen.
So excited to be here.
Absolutely. And so, we talked about a lot of things, and I like to give my viewers an idea of why you started the business. So, Joe, you're a very successful commercial real estate broker. You've won multiple awards. You're representing New York and family offices, et cetera, and you chose to pivot into private equity. Why?
Yeah, it was quite a moment. I actually closed one of the largest transactions of my career at the time. It was a $182 million sale, sensational transactions, got a bunch of awards. At the time, I was also an advisor for the state of New York for about 9 years going on, with the last two governors nominated me. And yet, at the same time, I felt that the industry itself is shifting, that things are moving and changing. I wasn't feeling actualized. And so I decided to make a shift. And the shift in it was essentially moving away from the advisory side into private equity. And so I formed Astor Realty Capital.
I love it. And that is quite a shift. I'm going to ask, before I dive into Marika, were you surprised by anything in that shift when you moved into private equity? Because it is a very different role.
It sure is. But however, it's a role that utilized me 20 plus odd years of experience in the market. I sort of took it as an advisor with a skin in the game, because I said, look, the market doesn't appreciate knowledge and values, information as it once did, because information is now available so widely. With technology, with Silicon Valley constantly throwing capital in order to disrupt the advisory and the brokerage business. And I was one of the leading brokers in New York City, one of the most competitive markets. And yet the industry was being shifted and it was changing. It was so much competitive. I knew that the market was looking for more of one thing: capital. Everybody needs more capital. And so I wanted to focus on that. At the same time, I also saw a dislocation with investors. Small investors, retail investors, high net worth individuals were not getting access into the same type of large transactions. And I wanted to combine both. I wanted to offer capital, wanted to offer my knowledge to investors. And so Astor essentially has, brought two of those pieces together. And this is why we call it the disruptors of the industry.
That's fantastic. So Marika, what was it that attracted you to the company to be a part of Astor?
Well, before I get started going into that, I just want to point out how important that very important comment that you made, skin in the game. I think a lot of people take that for granted. The skin in the game makes a very, very big difference. So why I joined Astor? First of all, Joe Burko. I knew Joe Burko, and he comes with great reputation, a lot of knowledge, 28 years of experience. That was, for me, a great starter. Afterwards, I looked at the company itself, and the amazing thing was how Joe morphed the small company into something so amazing, and I definitely wanted to be part of that. Astor had an amazing group of people who were ambitious and passionate. They loved going to work, and I wanted to be part of that from ground up. And after 5 years of working together and knowing that I can add so much to it, it's fun to be right.
You're not lying. It is
No,
fun to
she's
be
not,
right.
she's not.
Definitely
Thank you
fun
for
to be
saying
right.
that. I also want to say, because Marika brings something very unique. Yes, we come with tons of experience. We created a reputation. That's a reputation. It's a 20-year worth of reputation, and now going almost on 30. But you know, the organizational part that Marika brings to the table, and the way that she runs, how the structure of the company goes and the growth of the company, it's just very, very unique. And I haven't found anybody that can manage it quite as well and with so much focus and with so much oomph. So, you know, we're super lucky to have you.
Yeah, talking about partnerships, it's so important to have both of those aspects. And when they work really well together, that makes you unstoppable. To take that knowledge, expertise, and combine it with the organization is it's unstoppable.
And you know, when I asked you about the show initially, we were talking about something, I'm not sure, but I saw that power partnership. I saw that you each brought different things to the table. And I think the question that I asked you and the answer that you gave me was why I invited you to be here today. Because if you're watching, this is really key. As partners in a partnership in a business, as a CEO and a COO, how are you able to really recognize and optimize one another's strengths, communicate and work together so you continue to play in the zone of genius instead of getting in each other's way?
So the most important thing is to actually, what you said, right, is to recognize the strengths and talents of the both sides and not get in each other's way and honor both of those areas. So yes, the 28 years of experience, the reputation, acknowledge that, give that its worth. And then also for myself is recognize what are the areas of the growth and then bring my knowledge and expertise to improve on that and support those spaces. So like the togetherness of the CEO and the COO really have to work very, very well together. It's called the marriage, basically. You know, if you look at it, it's really like a marriage. You have to really respect each other's space, know each other's places, and have a vision that where you go together, and have your roles and not mix them together.
To put it into kind of like practical terms, Marika's a master of reach out. She's ultra organized. She has a group of administrations that help her on the reach out, on the follow-ups and things like that. So once she opens the door and creates the initial part of the introduction between us and a new company and a new corporation, I jump in and then I bring my expertise and then I bring my energy into the process, and you know, the other side appreciates the knowledge, the experience, and then you know the follow-ups that comes back to Marika. So you know it's sort of like, you know, coming up two hands, working with two hands. I couldn't be doing that alone. There's just no way. And she's phenomenal. Look, I'm close to 30 years in the business. It's just so much more fun to work together.
That's the best part, right? It's really also fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of people usually ask us like, how do you do it? And you know, we just do. It just works. And I like to see it like, I know I'm going to make it into kind of like a joke, but you know, like that movie 300.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, just see it like something so powerful and strong. And the only way to really work in unison is everybody has to, it's not just the CEO and the COO, it's the entire company, it's the entire team, and everybody just working and moving together, and everybody knowing their place, right? There's a general, there's a king, there's, you know, everyone has their place, but they're all unison and they work together. Yeah. And that's what makes it powerful.
And that really is the importance of team, right? We can't be individually focused when we are growing and when you have something as large as what you guys have built. Because if we as a team are greater than the sum of each of the parts, we know we've succeeded. We have the right people in the right places doing the right things to drive our business forward. And it seems like you guys have really nailed that. If you are listening at home, that is a right or downer. You want to make sure you have the right people on your team in the right positions, doing the right things that add up to an even better whole. And so I think that's something that a lot of companies struggle to find, and I want to just applaud you for finding that. And we are going to have to break in just a minute. Before we do, for the companies out there that are trying to see if their people that they have they know they have the right people, but they may not be in the right seats on the bus. Do you have any advice for that?
I think that you should always have fluidity. Don't be rigid. I've shifted position multiple times. People grow out of position, and because we work so close, it's hard for us to understand. Always ask the questions. We treat our employees as partners, each and every one. And so when we win, they know that they win. But it's equally as important to ask the question, each and every one of your associates, right? Each one of your employees. What are your goals? They're all fully aware of our goals and where we're going, where we would like to go, and where we want the company to be. But how many times have you actually asked them, what's your goals? What's your 5-year goal? And how can I help you actualize it? How can I help you fulfill it? Now you have a different type of partnership. And so I've had situations where I shifted positions, people grow into position, they've expanded, we give them large titles, they fall into them, they grow into them. We always have this dynamic. Nobody wants to be stagnant. Once you create stagnation, you're sort of like rolling backwards. So you always have to keep it interesting. People are always edgy and on their toes. Am I going to be able to make the next one? Is the next challenges? It's kind of like what keeps us all going and alive. It's the energy that we bring every morning. Now, this is kind of like on a CEO level. This is what I bring to the table. We always look, at where we would like things to be, and then I focus on other things: capital raise, analysis. I love going super granular with my analysts. I can spend hours with my analysts going into the Excels, dissecting, hypothesizing, doing all those things, and at the same time I can go back and kind of like look at big pictures and do it. And then Marika steps in and sort of like puts the entire process into place and create the structure that is needed
organizational
in order
flow
for those 300 to actually continue moving as a unit.
Absolutely. We do have to take a brief break, but if you are listening to this, that was key. Ask your team what are their goals and create that plan so that they can grow, because when our team grows, when our business partners and those relationships grow, our business grows as well. We will be right back after these messages.
What if you could feel in control of your retirement in just a few clicks? At aceyourretirement.org, you can. Start with a free 3-minute chat with Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach. Just answer some simple questions like, how do you feel about your ability to save for retirement? Or in how many years do you want to retire? To get free action items customized just for you, get your retirement back on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
My name is Andrew Glisson. Over the past 4 years, I've built a portfolio of over 200 single-family rental properties that generate over $200,000 a month in income. I've put together a 6-step formula to help you consistently acquire rental properties that cash flow $250,000 or more a month and have $30,000 or more of equity built into them. This includes starting right, becoming bankable, buying right, renovating right, exit strategies, property management, and many more modules. Best of all, if you're not totally blown away by the content, we offer a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If you're ready to build generational wealth for you and your family, look me up at sfruniversity.com.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
questions.
What's up, champ?
Right, cool.
I feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations, Brandon.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching Now Media Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, and we are going to dive right back into the conversation we were having. Before the break, we were discussing with Joe Burko about how to find the right people, make sure they're in the right seat in the bus so that they can continue to grow according to their goals in the organization, and the organization will grow as a result. Now I'm going to turn that over to you, Marika, to get your input as the operational officer, because you're responsible for all things operations once we get through the vision and the strategy. So what is your take on how do I know I have the right people in the right places doing the right things so that our team is set for success?
Well, first of all, let's start with the reason why I even joined Aster was, of course, Joe Burko, and he did such an amazing job picking the people to start that organization and bring it to where it is today as well. And on top of that, it's the people that were there. So for me, that is a very important role. And when I'm choosing the people to bring into the army of the 300, like I was saying before, character is really important. So when I'm doing my interviews, even though there's the resumes to read and things like that, I really learn about who that person is, what they represent, what is their character, does it fit into what Aster is all about? Does that family fit into that? And, the character of the person is so important because that shows up later on at work. It shows up to how committed are you? How ambitious are you? How are you able to overcome certain things? And how do you work well with each other? And character of a person comes up in so many places, not just in our office, it's not just in our work, it's also how we choose partnerships moving forward. Character is a very important role that we look at.
Absolutely, because we can't change the values of human beings. That's part of their character, and it's a lot harder to train the soft skills, if you will, than it is the technical skills that come along with the job. So I think that you've hit the nail on the head when it comes to that. That's something that we talk about a lot is, are you aligned with the values of the company? Are you going to be the right fit for the team? Because we all know one bad apple can poison the barrel. And so if you've got a great culture, which I hear that you have a great culture, and you've cultivated that, it's so important to have those key people in. And so if you can, in just a brief way, what is the culture of your company? If somebody walks into the door, no matter whether it's a potential client or a company that you want to do business with, do they see the culture of your company? What is that culture?
Absolutely. You see it right away. You see it because that is what our company culture is we bring the right people. I would say very diverse, very open, very welcoming, knowledgeable. Expertise is very important. It's what the company is based on, reputation. So all of those traits are very important. So it's not just the characters. We also bring the smarts.
It's a level of professionalism, truly, that you don't always see in real estate investing.
Yeah, I think integrity plays a very big role. Beyond the experience, beyond the focus, the thirst for knowledge. We never stop learning. We never stop collecting more information. We share information between us, the transparency, the willingness to step in, to move between different areas and to see individuals working together. And if there's more, associates time that are needed in certain areas, you'll never have somebody says, hey, that's not my department.
Right.
People always step in, they're always, helping each other out. The integrity part, I think, is extremely important. As a unit, we look at it, we see a lot of deals where we analyze over 800 transactions. We get so many requests throughout the United States on an annual basis, over 800 times, for individuals who are asking us to participate with them in various projects across the United States. And, to have the integrity to kind of like maintain structure and maintain true to form, picking the right projects, not because they pay better, not because there's a bigger promote at the back end of it, but which projects are actually aligned with what we're looking for, which is, reducing risk and yet achieving the highest possible returns. And so the integrity that we bring to each and every part of what we do is extremely, extremely important. Today we run our offices from New York City and from Florida. Many of our associates are analysts, are in different locations throughout the United States, from Washington, D.C. to parts of New York, to parts of New Jersey, and other locations as well. Our office manager sits effectively in Colorado. And so to have the ability to work off location and to have this kind of like everyone's available, quite frankly, almost all the time. It depends on how much stress we have and how much pressure, but we all work with deadlines. Everyone's up to the challenge. It's quite unique. And folks know that we're committed. The commitment is a two-way street. And so, our folks are participating, profit sharing. Our folks know that if market slows down, like for example, we haven't had a deal that we wanted to do for the last 15 months. We wanted to stay on the sidelines. The market was taking a nosedive since March of 2022. And we said, stop. The interest rate was going up. We knew there's a direct correlation between increasing interest rate and values dropping. It's just how it is. And it takes a while for the market to actually show that drop in values. And so all the deals that we were seeing was kind of like yesterday's prices.
Right.
There's this lag period. So it took about, good, year, 14 months, 15 months for us to start actually seeing the drops in value to get us interested again. And so everyone knew that we are committed back. We haven't fired anyone. It's the same group of individuals. Everyone's getting paid. So it's kind of like
it's a relationship,
back and forth commitment.
Yeah. Absolutely. We do have to break. We have a tech segment. I want to put a pin in that though, because we're going to come back after we talk a little bit about AI. You're going to want to stay tuned. We're going to have our tech segment of the week coming right up. Are you ready for our tech moment of the day? I know I am, and we are here with Mike and Rishi of Scovinen, our resident experts in all things tech. And the question that I have today is, what are the primary challenges or barriers you encounter when you integrate AI or machine learning or any other technical solution really into your client's existing operational frameworks, and how do you overcome those challenges?
That's a great question. From the initial phase, it's really overcoming the stereotype of what people think it can or can't do. So, and what I mean by that is, it's from my side on the operations, it's not a case of coming in with a tool. It's a case of coming in and letting them understand the value proposition by having, we call them tiger teams or collaboratively work groups, and letting them participate in it. Because for me, it's the human element. It's the resistance is more human than technical. We can sort out the technical side, Jen, but having the people have a belief and understanding, that's the largest challenge for me as an operational guy. And that's at all levels. That's not just the employee. Sometimes the frontline employee is more savvy to the tech than even the big boss. And the big boss just thinks it's a magic bullet, a golden bullet we're bringing in. But so all the way down through cascade, when we do a tiger team, I take titles away. I don't care if you're the president, the CEO, or the person who makes the tea. Understand and collaborate, and then you reduce the resistance, whether it be active or passive resistance, to embrace the technology.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we encounter the issue that the clients want to implement everything under the sun. Mm-hmm. And what we try to do is again, just identifying what the issue is and then building the solution that's just specific to solve only that problem. So we don't want to boil the ocean. We just want to specifically address that particular issue. And that's one of the challenges that, honestly, the challenges that we find, because clients, when they hear about AI, they want to look at everything under the sun and say, how can I solve all of these problems? And the reality is that let's tackle one problem at a time. And we can essentially help develop a roadmap that tackles each thing in turn.
And I have a question to that, because as an executive strategist, I work with entrepreneurs all the time. And one of the things that I have noticed is they don't even know what their most important problems are, or what the root cause of the problem are. They are looking for solutions to sort of symptoms. So do you guys help them from a technology standpoint to solve the root cause problems and to identify what those are so that it moves the needle further, faster, without a whole lot of disruption?
Yeah, so I start with the 5 M's and an E. I call it the man, method, machine, material, measurement, and environment. A challenge or a root cause problem is driven by one or a combination thereof. So if you really break it down to that, deconstruct and say, is it manpower? That could be the right number of resources or the skills of the resources, method, the process. Instead of ABC, we're going ACB, man, method, machine. So is it the tools that we have? Materials, do I have the right materials? Do I have the right measurements, like an SLA or calibrations? Man, method, machine, material, measurement, environment. Do I have the right environment? It could be a cultural environment, or it could be the heat of the building. So we look at everything and break it down to say, okay, what's the actual issue here? What's the lever that drives it? And then apply the right solution to that.
Fantastic. And then the other thing that comes to my mind is, once we have identified the problems, and I'm going to speak specifically to mergers and acquisitions, because I help clients with this all the time. When we do a merger or an acquisition and we're looking at merging softwares and integrating processes or bringing one into the other, it always comes with many more challenges than what we anticipate. So how do you solve for that?
So because a lot of the solutions that, or most of the solutions that we build are bespoke, what we do is we essentially take the machine learning model that we build and then usually integrate that with their existing software via some programming interface. So essentially, we are not trying to build a completely different solution on top of what they have. We usually try to integrate that with all of their software stack that they already have. So it just makes that transition easier to leverage what they have and just build the ML model on top.
Yeah, we often get that, Jen. They think, here come the consultants, and consultants by de facto, there's an investment, we call it an investment, but they think there's also the investment on the equipment side of it. And most of the equipment that we work with, they just haven't leveraged the capability of the equipment. So from a capital cost, it's actually very minimal. It's more just, again, I'm more like to take action, move on it, than having to sophisticatedly bring in some different tools and machines, etc. As long as we can tap into that machine, get into its heart, we can provide you the information you need to make those informed, predictive decisions.
Fantastic. So you have heard it first here from the guys at Scovinen. If you would like to learn more, reach out to Mike and Rishi at Scovinen. They are here for you. Or you can always connect with me. I'm happy to connect you as well. And today's the day that you take action on that. What is the operation that you want to optimize? Think about that, and we'll be back after these messages.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Gaudet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
¿Quieres tener el mejor recuerdo de bodas, original, exclusivo y fuera de lo común? Entra a www.larevistadetuboda.mx o visítanos en nuestra página de Instagram o Facebook. Descubre todo lo que puede quedar plasmado en el recuerdo que siempre soñaste. Reportajes, entrevistas, un diseño personalizado, sesiones fotográficas y mucho más. Solo en la revista de tu boda.
Palitos y Bolitas es la catedral de la explicación. Este programa es la única parada que necesitas para entender los porqués y cómo de todo lo que pasa en México y el mundo. Lunes a viernes, 7 p.m. por Heraldo Televisión.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, investor, entrepreneur, and business strategist. If you're just now tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, click on Power CEOs, and catch the first half of this segment. Why? Because we have been talking about building the right team, having the right people in the right places to make sure that the sum of all of our parts are working together and greater than the whole so that our people grow, they meet their goals, and it accelerates our business growth. I am here in studio with Mariko and Joe of Astor Realty and Capital. They are phenomenal in this space. And I want to ask you, Marika, now, because you've built this team, because your culture is integrity, because you come with that professionalism and that expertise that sets you apart in your industry, what is it that attracts investors to invest with you?
That's a really good question. So I would say, first of all, the most important thing is the track record. That's a very important point that people really look at. And it's the track record that has attracted us to those larger institutional capital and a wide variety of investors. So it's really our reputation and the track record that we go off of first, and we deliver. Our investors put trust in us, and we deliver on the deals and the capital that we return, and also the skin in the game that we come in with, what we spoke about before. So it's a very important part when reaching out to our investors. It's the knowledge of our product, of where we come from, and the partnerships that we bring, the strong backing that we have as well, that sets us apart.
Very true. To be consistent in this business, it's not an easy thing. 28 years, we've never lost capital, thank God.
Wow, that's an amazing track record.
Yes. And I think it goes a very long way. And it's a very solid statement with investors. Now, when we choose a project, we always underwrite from the downside. It's nice to make great returns. Our average today is around 21, 22%. on an annualized basis. Consider all things that we went through in the last 3 years. It's quite amazing, right?
Absolutely.
Think about it. So, but it's not that. It's not where the magic is. We always underwrite from the downside. We analyze risk for a living. And so when we look at a project, there's always a plan B. Because I really don't know what will happen in the next 3 or 4 years. What if we hit another pandemic? What would happen then? And if I don't have the answer to what would happen in the worst possible scenario, can we maintain capital? Can we preserve capital? See, we were never born with a silver spoon. We had to work extremely hard for everything that we have. And so is all of our investors. Doesn't matter if they're super ultra rich today or if they're just starting and they're trying to get their money working for them. You know, preservation of capital is the utmost and the most important thing that we do in how we do it. So yes, real estate is very forgiving. And you can make a mistake in real estate and it's still going to be very forgiving. But it's extremely important to know how to come out of an investment or how to maintain an investment and not to fall down, because that could happen as well.
Absolutely. And you know, you said something that was very important, and I want to key into it because a lot of our viewers are investors already, and we have entrepreneurs who have gotten to a level of success and they're considering investors. And so for those new investors, that risk management, really it's risk mitigation that you're talking about, that preservation of capital. What are the questions that our investors should be asking to a company that they're considering investing in?
Let's think about a typical situation. An investor gets an email, pops up either through Facebook, social media. Come invest here, 18% return per annum. Great investment, gorgeous pictures. It looks fantastic. Investor clicks in, shows up. Maybe there's a Zoom of some sort. Click here, fill this document, send the money in. Very sort of like cutting edge, Gen Z type of a situation. No friction, as it's known in the industry. So we don't operate this way. We operate very differently, and this is why we're called the disruptors. Traditionally, a developer or an operator will go get a piece of property and then reach out to a group of investors to raise capital, where capital will be under his supervision and will be deployed into the project. There is nobody that watches over that money. There is nobody. If I'm a doctor and my interest is to invest in real estate, there is no one other than whatever, my friends or some broker that I know, that can give me guidance. Is this a good investment or is this a bad investment? Well, unfortunately, we're in a period of time where we've seen some pretty colossal losses right now happening, especially in the space of crowdfunding. There's really nobody watching. When you send your $100,000, $200,000 into an investment, there's nobody literally letting you know other than the individual himself who's running the show, the developer. How did we change things? We essentially said, we're going to create a vehicle for the investors. Our own money goes in there. The institutional money that we bring to the project goes in there. And the high net worth and retail investors that are coming in with us with smaller checks, $50,000, $100,000, goes into the same vehicle. We now created a bond. We now created a collective bargaining. The collective bargaining now allows us to negotiate with our operating partner. We place the operating partner in one vehicle, we're in another vehicle. Our interest, our fiduciary, is only to the investors. Now, our system goes in, hey, we look at 800 transactions a year. We come with 30 years experience. Who's going to make a better choice? A doctor? An engineer who's trying to invest into real estate because he's heard he can do good? Or somebody like us with a team, with resources, with all this experience.
And proven results.
And tons of results,
Yeah.
tons of years of results. So we'll make the first of all, we'll start with the right allocation. And the allocation is not just the real estate. It's also the individuals. Who's running the show? How much experience do they have? What sort of track record they have or trying to hide? And so all those factors come in together when we make an allocation. Then we'll reach out to the investors. We bring the large checks from the public companies that are working with us. There's mutual work on the due diligence, which is, it's a heavy, this is
it's a heavy lift.
Heavy lift. Months and months of work over here, documents upon documents. From legal to background check to understanding the market, the nuances, that goes into each and every transaction that we decide to deploy capital to. And only when I have this done, only when we're ready to deploy, I would leave the last 10-20% to our group of investors. At that stage, they're coming in. It's fully cooked. We know what we're doing. They're stepping in with small checks, primarily small checks. We've had investors that come in with several $1 million. We're always asking to diversify. But they're coming in into something that is secured. Now, the difference is we don't just raise capital. Our work only starts when we close the deal. We deploy the capital into the project, but we have a group, an entire team of individuals that are super expertise. If it's construction, I have construction experts that are going into the project and are verifying. That's the missing part. That's the missing link. They're verifying that the capital that we've invested into this project is actually going to where it's supposed to go. Are we on time? Are we on budget? And if not, the negotiations that we have, the legal negotiation that we have as a collective coming in with a large check to a project allows me to take over the project, allows me to remove my operating partner, allows me to step in and to correct whatever situation. We have all the legal power as well. And so while we look for those efficiencies, because the partners that we bring to the table also come in with 30 years of experience, we look for those efficiencies, we negotiate much better. So the promote structure, or also known as the waterfalls, the waterfall that my investors get, even after our promotes, tend to be much better than working directly with the operating partners as well, with the developers.
And so what I'm hearing is it's a lot, like the disruption truly is because you have that collective bargaining power, you have the leverage.
That's right.
In order to say, listen, this is not on track, this is not what you agreed to, we're going to step in and ABC is going to happen. That's so right. You've preserved your capital and you've actually preserved your profit margin. That's right. And so that is really hugely beneficial to your investors.
If I could sum it up, basically the very same doctor, and I always like to say doctor, it could be somebody else, but the very same doctor with $250,000 of invested capital can come and do the exact same thing. The difference will be somebody will be on his side. He can rely on, because my money and that doctor's money is aligned, right? My capital is the exact same risk. However, he'll talk to me, he'll get much better deal because essentially the returns are going to be higher because the promotes to the developer are going to be diminished.
Yes, absolutely. And that truly is disrupting in the industry. And so I'm going to ask you, Mariko, because you were the operations, how do you ensure that this flow happens behind the scenes? There's a lot that's happening that the investor doesn't see, but you have to make sure this continues to flow and that you put the right people on the job. For example, in your example, the right contractor, we have to usurp that and do something else. How are you managing that behind the scenes and making sure that happens effectively?
So for me, I see this as a very key role of who's representing that in the team that we have, right? Mm-hmm. And how we manage everything. First of all, it's also having the right technology behind everything that we do and always staying up to date with that. And if we need to expand and make sure that we work with the best companies as well, we do that too. So everything that we have in-house is the best, most up-to-date technology to make sure we keep. Also, we make sure we work with the best attorneys. We work, everybody that we bring into our company is at the highest level. Mm-hmm. So we don't sacrifice the backing of our operation. It's always the highest level and the highest grade. And it's really for us, it's we don't sleep from that. It's not a 9 to 5. It's part of our life. It's just what we do.
And that's what sets you apart from the competition. We do have to break really briefly, but what I hear is you make sure that you have the best of the best, whether they're in-house, whether they're external, so that you can advocate for your client, who is the investors, and your partners. And I really want to highlight that you get what you pay for, and you're not afraid to go for what's new, cutting edge, and make sure you have everything dialed in, the best of the best, because that ultimately ends up with a better result. So if you're listening to this, that is something to pay attention to. Don't cut corners. Make sure you're working with the best clients, the best consultants, the best partners, so that you can ensure your inevitable success. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Welcome back to Power CEO's Truth Behind the Business. We are going to dive right into our next pressing question because I know there are people out there, you've reached out to me, you've got money on the sidelines, you're thinking about investing, you're not sure how to start. So I'm going to go to the experts who I have here in studio today, Joe and Marika. For the investors who have never dipped their toe into anything outside of the traditional 401k, brokerage account, and they've got money, but they're not sure where to start. What can they do today? What action can they take today to start that journey?
I think the most important thing is educate yourself. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with a group like us. And start getting into the habit of knowledge. Okay? Learn, listen. Be part of pitches and Zooms. Ask questions. Participate. Take a small amount. Try it out. See how the reporting goes. See how communication goes. See if you're happy before you make a location or before you make this type of an investment. Make sure that those individuals actually have skin in the game themselves. It's much, much easier to walk away from a deal when you don't have skin in the game. Those with skin in the game, stay in the game.
That's right.
That's right.
I want to also add to that also, we talk so much about relationships, and I would say, build a relationship with us, get to know us, talk to us, give us a call, ask questions, have conversations with us. That's a very big part.
Yeah.
Know who you're working with. It's not just let me put my money in the real estate. It's who's representing my money also. So get to know us.
Absolutely.
And as an investor, I just really want to point out, one of the things that we do as investors when we enter a new relationship, we don't just, and we're pretty savvy. We are used to evaluating deals. And we still build the relationship. If we're going to see a deal and it looks like a fantastic deal and we're building a relationship and we think we work with it, we're still only going to put a little bit in, even as experienced as investors. And that is to build the relationship. So if you're listening to this, build the relationship. If you like the people, you've built the relationship, you've educated yourself, like what Joe and Marika were just saying, put a little bit in. And Joe said this, put a little bit in because you want to make sure that people do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. And when that happens, which I know you guys deliver results in spades, then you put more money in because you've already seen that relationship. You've seen the integrity that you spoke about. You've seen the flow from every step of the process. And I think if you're thinking about starting investing, that is the absolute best advice that we collectively could give from the investor side and from the vehicle.
Now we all know diversification is very important. So if your capital is sitting entirely in capital markets, stocks, the bonds, great, diversify a little bit. The secondary areas, the alternative areas, as real estate is sometimes referred to, is an extremely important segment of investments. It's growing. Some would argue you needed to put a third of it. I obviously have a lot more than a third in real estate, but I also diversify away from real estate. So if you're focused on your 401ks and things like that, put a certain segment. There's so many tax benefits to real estate. So it's not just, diversifying, you're also creating all sorts of tax benefits as well. Now, the important thing is, remember, most groups do not offer the type of collective bargaining that Astor Realty Capital does. It's an amazing, amazing concept because an investor sits there and he gets the knowledge and he gets a partner that's aligned with him, and he gets better returns all at the same time. Folks come to us sometimes with a certain amount of checks, whether it is $1 million or $500,000 or $100,000. And I always ask to diversify. We always try to diversify over 4 or 5 deals. And so the interaction, the monthly or quarterly reports that they get, the portfolio that they get to create in a very short period of time with small capital, being alongside large capital, public companies that we represent, it's our own capital, our family members, right? It's kind of like it's a very unique unit. Now, I love to know each and every one of our investors. There is no, I don't think that there's any investor that invested with us without having a call with me, a Zoom with me. And it's important to mention it because a lot of the crowdfunding and a lot of the large capital raise, they don't want to know you. And if they know you, kind of like a capital raise or some sort of a computer click. For us, it's personal. We want to know what your goals are, and we have a variety of investment opportunities because Astor Realty Capital invests. Today we're about $2.25 billion in portfolios across the United States, over 3.6 million square feet, and you'll find everything. You'll find 5-star hotels. You'll find multifamily, you'll find ground up, you'll find condo projects, logistical centers, mixed use. We really built something amazing in a short period of time, 7-8 years. I'm kind of like discounting the previous 20 years that took me to build the last 7 years, but for the sake of the conversation, we'll focus on that. And so you create diversification, and even the capital that we deployed has diversification. It's some investments, it's all about income. And so you can get monthly checks coming in or quarterly checks. Other investments are preferred returns. You'll get annual checks, and those are pretty large. And other ones, those with like a little bit more patient capital can put their money into equity. These are the big returns, over 20% returns, or close to 20% annualized returns, but you get it as a lump sum. And so, everybody has different philosophy to investment. So I think the most important thing we bring to the table is obviously our expertise, the fact that we team up with the investor. Okay, we team up with the investor. We are on the side of the investor to check and verify, to make sure we all choose the right project, to negotiate better terms than a small check could ever do, and to make sure that it's alignment of interest.
Absolutely, and a team that grows together and delivers results to their clients will continue to grow. We do have to unfortunately come to a close. So Joe, for those people out there who are thinking about investing, who want to learn about investing, who are maybe already investing in some spaces but want to diversify or want to consider, maybe they didn't realize they can use small capital, 25K, 100K, and get access to this. Yes. How can they reach out to you?
Astor Realty Capital. Look us up. We have a fairly easy website to negotiate and go through the various pages. Shoot an email, jb@Astor Realty Capital or info@Astor Realty Capital. I think that's the easiest way to start a conversation. We'll reach back to you fairly shortly, probably within a day or two, and set up a call. We'll get on a call, either myself or one of our C-level executives that will take you through what does it mean to work together, to invest together, the documents that you might need. If it's your IRA that you need to pull money from, or if it's a 1031 that you need to convert, we're expert in the business. I've been around for about 28 years, and I love what I do. And we're only getting started. Marika was talking about, those guys have built a portfolio. I'm very proud of where we are, but we are really only getting started. So I want to help you get diversification. I want to help you get better terms and higher returns. Give us a shot. I'd love to work together with you.
Fantastic. And Marika, how can they reach out to you?
So I'm a very big fan of technology and social media. So definitely social media is a great way to reach out to me. You can find me just through looking up my name. My last name is pretty not so common, so it'll be
just
easy to find.
Letters.
Just 18 letters, so it'll be pretty easy to find me. But my email is marika@Astor Realty Capital, so that's pretty simple. And that's it. Everything else, Joe pretty much covered it. So.
And so this show, we are all about learning and growing, but we're about action. So now I'm talking to you, yes, you, viewing, listening, however you're hearing this content. We talked about a lot of things. They talked about ways to learn how to invest in different things that maybe you don't have exposure to, how to really protect your investment. But that's only a small part of the equation. Knowledge is only this part. This is where the magic happens, the action. So I'm going to ask Joe and Marika very briefly, for the people out there that are looking to invest, what is the one action you would like them to take today that's going to get them moving positively forward and shift that momentum for them?
I would say first action is schedule a call with us, because we're not here just to offer our deals and things like that. We're here also to give and help you out. If you have questions and you're looking at deals and need help to evaluate, the first thing would really be just call us.
I believe that the laws of the universe, if you want something, give something. So we have a lot of individuals that are reaching us on an ongoing basis with different projects that they're looking at, different opportunities. I realized that the type of education that's out there is lacking in some way, in some form. If you think about traditional education, what is traditional education? It's either textbook or it's coming from one individual, maybe with a lot of experience, but it's still one vision. And so during the pandemic, in the middle of 2020, where I had a lot more time on my hands, I decided to create a real estate course, real estate masterclass. I pulled in every major player throughout the United States, from the biggest guys, folks like Sam Zell, the Oracle of real estate, sold the largest real estate transaction in the history of real estate, to folks like Ethan Pinner and finance folks, and folks that I've been working with for many, many years, over 28 years, the biggest guys across the nation. And we pulled them together, and I've created this amazing course called Real Estate Masterclass. There were 16 chapters. We brought everybody down to New York City to an amazing the TV studio.
And how can people get in touch with that? How can people interact with that?
Well, they'll reach back to me. So JB at Astor Realty Capital, and I'll turn you into this. And so what I do believe is that if you want to learn, and I never stop learning, by the way, going through this course, I was learning more than I will ever be able to teach. It's an ongoing process. So JB at Astor Realty Capital or info at Astor Realty Capital, and we'll send you the good stuff.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much to each of you for the amazing value that you've added. And unfortunately, all good things do come to an end. Learn, educate yourself, reach out to Joe and Marika. They have awesome assets. They're willing to hop on a call and educate you, help you through the process. But let's educate ourselves. I think learning, growing, taking that first step and contacting them or getting your next learning in and exploring and taking action is where it's at. And so today we're going to take actions so that we can set ourselves for inevitable success. We will be here same time, same station next week. But until then, win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Look, champ. Feel like you get taller every time I see you. Congratulations, Brandon.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation.